Today in Apple news, iOS 17.5 is on the horizon. Apple may be gearing to release a possible new Apple TV. New iPhone 16 leaks hit the web. iOS 18 features, namely Siri improvements, and more. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay in the Apple loop. And if you want to skip to the segment that most interests you today, check out the chapters down below in the video description. All right, so to kick things off, let's talk about iOS 17.5, Apple's next major single point iOS release. Now, last week we got the first developer and public beta versions of the firmware. And so far, the next update features very few actual changes the end user will notice. But that's subject to change with feature iterations and according to some hidden code. Now, once released, iOS 17.5 will be the first version to allow iPhone owners in the European Union to download iOS apps directly from specified developers, circumventing Apple's App Store. Now, this is a big deal for a number of reasons. Namely, it will be the first time you can actually download public apps off of the App Store with Apple's sort of, I guess, half blessing. It seems like they haven't fully opened their walled garden, nor will they, as there are a number of restrictions and requirements that developers must meet in order to qualify. And unfortunately, it's not going to be opened up to the entire world, just the EU for now. Next, a user on X found that while listening to podcasts on iOS 17.5 beta, the background color for the widget for Apple Podcasts now changes to accurately match the podcast cover art. Also, mobile device management changes were found to enforce an iOS beta version during the automated device enrollment process. So, nothing too major there, really. And finally, there are some very interesting code changes that may reveal new features and devices. First, the iPad OS 17.5 beta now includes new references to a brand new battery health menu on iPad, although it's not currently visible, but there are strings hinting at information such as max capacity, cycle count, performance, and more. Now, the ability to block all participants in a FaceTime call is also mentioned, but that feature has yet to be confirmed. New Apple Pencil strings have been uncovered, hinting at a V4 or version 4 of the Apple Pencil. And while it's unknown what new features such a device will bring to the table, it's possible that a new squeeze gesture could be added. Finally, iOS 17.5 looks like it could expand upon the AirTag feature that pops up when an unknown tag is moving with you. They could expand the service to third party trackers that are not Apple branded, which is always a nice thing. Now, moving right along to the Apple TV from iOS 17.5, it's been almost a year and a half since the last Apple TV was released. And although it's not Apple's most popular product, it's certainly one that has stood the test of time, receiving a number of revisions over the years. Well, according to latest rumors, like all new Apple devices, it's expected to feature a faster chip. Probably not the latest chip, but it could be either the A16 that powers the iPhone 14 Pro models, or possibly even the A17 found in the iPhone 15 variants, especially if it's released later this year, more toward the fall. It's also expected to be more affordable than the current model, according to analyst Ming Chi Ku. It could even receive a sub $100 price, which would be great as that's the quote sweet spot for the device, according to him, and a price that the Apple TV hasn't seen since 2012 before they raised the prices. Now, while a new Apple TV is also expected to feature overall the same design, Mark Gurman claims that a future iteration of the device may have a built in camera for FaceTime. So I guess there's that. What do you think about an Apple TV that features a FaceTime camera? Be sure to let me know down below in those comments. Personally, I've only used the FaceTime feature on my own Apple TV a handful of times, and I find it's just okay to be able to use the camera from my iPhone with the continuity camera feature. It pops up almost immediately. You just turn it on, you flip your phone around, and there you go. So for me, I don't really see any value in that. But let me know what you think down below. Now, next up, we have iPhone 16 leaks, albeit not the most exciting this time around. In the last episode of Apple News, I highlighted a number of more interesting leaks, including new changes to the material on the Pro versions. So be sure to check out that video after this one. It's linked in the cards now, as well as down below in the video description. But today, according to a Chinese Weibo leaker, the iPhone 16, iPhone 16 Pro, and iPhone 16 Pro Max will all have larger batteries than their predecessors, while the iPhone 16 Plus may actually have a slightly smaller battery at 4,006 milliamp hours versus the iPhone 15 Plus's 4,383 milliamp hour battery, which is a reduction of approximately 9%. The chart that you see on the screen now is courtesy of Mac Rumors, and as you can see, the base model is expected to see a positive 6% bump, while the Pro is expected to get an increase of 2.5% and 5% for the Pro Max. So what are your thoughts on this, and why do you think Apple may reduce the battery size on just the Plus model? Is it a logistics thing? Is it for cost cutting? Let me know down below in those comments. I'm really interested to see what you guys think, what your take is, and kind of get a conversation going around the next generation iPhones. Now, finally, for iOS 18 and Siri, like the iPhone 16 leaks, more interesting reports were highlighted during the last episode, linked in the cards and down below. Today, though, according to a new report from Reuters, Apple is seeking an agreement with PhotoBucket, one of the largest photo sharing sites that would allow Apple to use the service's expansive library of over 13 billion, yes, that's right, billion with a B, photos and videos to train Apple's AI models on. Now, as we all know, training a good generative AI model requires vast training data sets to get it to generate good results. And Apple has already reached an agreement with Shutterstock to license millions of images back in 2022. But as we see now with this latest report, that might not have been able to cut it. We know Apple is falling behind in AI and that they may even license Google's Gemini AI tech before their own AI efforts are ready for prime time to ensure that users don't jump ship during this boom in AI products. Now, that pretty much wraps up everything I wanted to discuss in today's video. If you guys want to see more videos on things that I'm not necessarily covering right now, I would love to hear from you in the comments. I'm just kind of getting back into the swing of things as far as creating YouTube videos goes. And, so far it's been a lot of fun. But if you guys have anything in particular that you would like to see out of me or out of the channel, again, just be sure to let me know. And I will be covering tons of new iOS 18 and iPhone 16 news, rumors, reports, leaks, and every single thing in between. So just be sure to stay tuned, subscribe if you have yet to, and until next time, this is ICU signing out.
I think the girls with their nails done now.